What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome back to another episode of This Freakin' Show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. The same weekly podcast is brought to you by ballwash.com. Guys, if you value your genitals, your testicular region, your family jewels, if you will, you need to find a product that's going to care for them as much as you do on a lonely fucking night. I'll say it. I don't give a shit. Yep. Right? Fuck it. I can say it. It'll be okay. Guys, go to ballwash.com, check out their products, check out everything they have available for you. Not only, some nut rubs and creams and powders for your family jewels, but, also they have products for your hair, shampoos, conditioners. They got body scrubbers. They actually have a line of boxers they now have available for you as well. You can buy each product individually or you can buy it in a package. But if you want the best value for you, go ahead and sign up for their little club they got there too, where you get some products sent out to you. All of the available sales that they have that you decide to purchase things, if you go, I'm like fucking staggering here, Joe.
You're doing fine.
I don't think so. I, in my head, it's like, what the fuck you doing, man? Fill up your cart with all their products. Go to checkout. Use the promo code FREAKNET. That's FREAKNET at checkout. It'll save you 15% in your entire order. That's right. Ballwash.com from head to toe. Hold it. I can't do it, Joe. I can't fucking do this.
Head to toe and hold a pole.
Thanks, Joe. Get the funk out of your junk. Go to ballwash.com. Promo code FREAKNET. 15% on your final order.
Nicely done.
It wasn't.
Stuck the landing. That's all that mattered.
Right.
You ever see that video of that gymnast who's like, she's doing the balance beam and she slips and falls almost the entire time, but then she sticks the landing at the end?
No, but did you ever see the video of the panda who was at the top of the structure and kind of rolled over to relax and ended up falling off the top of it?
Yes, I have seen that.
That was me just now, bud. You know, I'm gonna put it on karma. It's through all those times that I mocked you for your mess ups. It finally got back to me. It came full circle.
Happens.
It does happen. But that's not our sponsor here, is it, Joe?
What's that? Oh, it's not our only sponsor?
That's
correct.
Sponsor, Joe. That's right.
I would say, you know what else happens is sometimes I want to read a book, but I don't want to read. And so what I do is I go onto my phone and I open up my Audible app and I have the dulcet tones of a professional reader read the book to me. And it's great because now I can read when I'm watching TV, when I'm playing video games, when I'm driving, and I don't have to take my eyes off of anything that I'm doing. It's freaking fantastic. And if you want to experience that wonderful experience of being read to, like you're a little child again, listening to your grandpa, your grandma, your mom read you a book.
Hold on a second, man. When you said child, did you go a little Christopher Walken there?
I may have. I wasn't thinking about it.
Child
again.
I'm sorry to interrupt
you. I have bad Christopher Walken. I don't even know.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but the moment you said child, I just think of every Christopher Walken impersonation I've ever heard in my life. Crushed it, by the way. Unintentionally. An unintentional Christopher Walken impersonation. Love it.
Nice. I'll have to go back and listen because I didn't hear it. I was in the zone, man.
I know, right? Maybe I don't want to be alone here in the blunders.
I was hoping maybe we'd traded places and I could do a really good one while you did a really bad one for once.
Well, we did. I talked over you like you normally do to me. We literally traded places.
Fair enough.
You ask me for words you can't think of.
Yeah. Speaking of words I can't think of, I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to support the show, you could go to audibletrial.com/freaknet and you'd get a free 30-day trial of that wonderful experience of being read to, in addition to free credit towards your first book purchase. So that's audibletrial.com/freaknet. You get a great book. We get a little money. It's a great deal. Head on over there right now, audibletrial.com/freaknet.
Right. It's a win-win for everybody. It
really is.
Absolutely. And also, an awesome win-win as pertains to, books being read, stories being read to you by, an amazing author, a narrator, if you will. Guys, remember that, this freaky show is just around the corner. We're looking at about 4 or 5 weeks away from, the return of This Freaky Show. We've been advertising it over our social media for the last couple of weeks because we really want you guys to realize what we have planned for this coming October. And I'm hoping to God I'm not shooting myself in the foot or trying to hype it up for more than what it is, but I'm just so excited for the things that we have planned, not only on this podcast that we're going to do throughout the month of October as This Freaky Show, as I am working with the Freak Joe as he comes out of hibernation. But also over on our Freaknet Studios YouTube page, which you can find just by searching Freaknet Studios on YouTube, hitting the notification bell, and make sure you have like all notifications on, or however YouTube works nowadays, to make sure that you get the little like, hey, something happened. Because me and the Freak Joe are going to be doing our cemetery tours in October. The overall plan as of right now is to release 2 tours every single week throughout the month of October. We're hoping to hit at least 8 local cemeteries to us. So I'm really excited for that. And obviously to me, it's going to be the best for last. I don't know how you feel about cemeteries, Joe, if they're considered a best for last, but we are going to look at Resurrection Cemetery, which is famous for Resurrection Mary, as well as Bachelor's Grove, which is, at one point was listed and could possibly still be listed as the most haunted cemetery in the country. So,
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, there's so many, and we've talked a lot about this, a little bit on the show and a little bit behind the scenes when we do, because we really don't do a lot of planning for shows and stuff like that. We kind of just like, hey, let's do this, sounds good, and let's go with it.
Yep.
Which any listener of our show could kind of get that idea just by listening to us. But this is something that, we're trying to plan as hard as we can because we really want it to be something. And, it's just like, there's a lot of interesting cemeteries in Illinois, not so much like, the cemetery itself, but some parts of it, like, the one up, I want to say it's Franklin Park, the one with the circus, kind of section.
Oh, I think it's Forest Park. That's one
Forest Park
by where I used to live.
Yes. From that train accident that happened with that circus, many, many, many years ago. So that's one of the places we're projected to check out. There's another one out in Oxable, Illinois, Aurora, obviously Resurrection Cemetery and Justice, Bachelor's Grove in Midlothian, and then obviously a couple others, spread throughout that entire thing. Really excited to do it. I know the Freak Joe's excited to do it because it's the Freak Joe. He's into shit. He's excited for stuff. But as well as reading the stories that are created for him to read. As one of the stories that's going to be read was created by the host of Doug Gray Area, Sarge. If you guys have had a chance to check him out, make sure you do. His podcast is along with us and Just Freak Wrestling, part of Freaknet Studios. Make sure you check him out. His podcast is on every platform we're on. So, he submitted a story. I've read it. It's awesome. I'm excited for the Freak Joe to read it. So that's going to be part of it. As well, there's a story I wrote, but every day that goes by since I read it, I hate it more and more because I'm very anal about the shit I think is good. But we'll see. But October's going to be really good. I'm really excited for it. I'm hoping, you guys enjoy everything we do. There's kind of a plan of how we're going to work everything. And hopefully you guys get to enjoy as much as we do. About 3 weeks from now, we're going to have our 200th episode here on This Freaking Show. We're going to do the Ask Us Anythings, where you can ask me and Cartoon Joe any questions you like, within reason, obviously. Nothing that shows up on credit card applications and mortgages and shit like that. Keep it away from the real personal shit. But advice and opinions and stuff like that are welcomed. Obviously, if you listened to last week's show, you kind of heard my little spiel on what I was freaking thinking. Questions like that is ignorant. Try to avoid stuff like that. But if you want to ask me a political question, feel free to do so. Just don't ask me about why I'm too much of a coward to do something, because that's not the case. I just know how to not piss people off, and I try to avoid doing that as much as possible. But we do have something that we're going to do that's kind of fan fiction-ish here in a little bit that are probably going to piss off some fans, just based on the fan fiction that we have. More MCU-related fans, not our fans, because our fans are amazing.
That's true.
Shit, Joe! Oh,
yeah.
This one I want to tell you. Let me tell you about the panic attack I had 3 days ago.
Oh, no. Yeah, please tell me.
Right? Such a panic attack, a piece of paper just fell off my desk. pretty sure this house is haunted. Anyways, so, Sunday night, I'm laying in bed, and I do what I do every night before I go to bed. I go on the Podbean, check the downloads, check where it's coming from and stuff like that, seeing how the shows are doing, because I'm anal like that. Because our fan base has grown pretty well over the past couple months, and I do appreciate the new followers and new listeners of the show. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. Keep doing that for us. I do appreciate it. You know the number of followers we had. It's like, it was like over 940 something followers when I checked it on Saturday.
Nice.
Guess what the number was on Sunday?
14.
6.
No.
Lost my shit. I'm laying there in bed. It's like 11:30 at night. I'm looking at it and it says, following 8, followers 6. I'm like, that can't be right. So I close out. I go back in, followers 6. I'm like, no fucking way. So I go onto my desktop and pull it up. Followers fucking 6. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I go onto the app, the Podbean app, and I search us. It says followers fucking 6. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this? I go on Just Freaking Wrestling's Podbean. It's all there. 800 and whatever fucking followers we have. That was fucking fine. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this freaking show that we go from 940 to 6?
Yeah.
So I emailed this girl at Podbean, and shout out to Shannon at Podbean. Thank you for helping me out here and helping me kind of keep my cool, because she used the exclamation points in the best ways possible. So nice. I emailed her and I said, good evening, Shannon. Travesty here from This Freaking Show. Quick question. I had 940 followers yesterday. Now I only have 6. I don't think everyone abandoned me, but what's going on? If there's any way you can tell me, I'm kind of losing my mind here. To which she responds the next morning at like 5 a.m.
Nice.
Awesome. Fucking awesome. To her response was, good morning, Travis. That is alarming! Exclamation point. Please contact this email. He had this, and this. He'll be able to help you out. And first off, I love the fact that she gave me a direct email to somebody, not just please call an 800 IT number. Fucking nice. Phenomenal. Appreciate it. Plus the exclamation point made me feel a little bit more like she cared. Luckily, I didn't have to use the number. I checked it Monday morning and the number went back to normal. So I'm not sure what the fuck happened, but it scared me for the time that I saw it to the time when I finally went to bed after crying. Freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah, I bet. It's crazy.
Yeah. But we are close to 950 followers, so I do appreciate that. So thank you guys for your continued support. Our downloads are up more and more every single week, and it's all because of you guys, and we appreciate that so much. And that's why we love doing the content and stuff like this for you. Doing the YouTube stuff with I have vlogs and everything, which make sure you check out this week's vlog as we talk about our new diet journey, not so much a challenge, not so much a testing. Cartoon Joe decided that he wants to do the Mediterranean diet. I decided I want to stick to the keto diet, which I started today on September 1st as we record here. And I'm going to be honest with you, I actually feel more comfortable in where I'm at. Nice. I love where I'm at right now. I'm using the Fitness Pal app, which I'm keeping track of my macros and the calories and everything. I only went over, I think I said like 1900 calories, which is pretty fucking low, but Travis needs to lose fucking weight. So I only went over 10 calories today, so I'm okay with that. So I'm happy with that. I'm drinking my water. I think I'm on, number 7 of my 32 ounces. So, nice. I'm happy with that. I'm using my Fitbit app. I got my yoga mat and everything set up in the guest room so I can do my workouts. Everything's going good. I'm very excited. I had a couple job interviews and stuff last week. You know, I can talk about this later. This is what I'm freaking thinking about. Let's talk about it later.
Nice.
But make sure you check out our vlog and everything over on the Freakin' Studios page. Make sure, again, like and subscribe to, the page so you can check out the vlogs as we go through our diet journeys, as well as getting set up for October. So we have our video tours of the cemeteries with me and the Freak Joe, coming up here in October. Joe, what freaking happened this week?
Yes, let me tell you. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, I got distracted there. Whew.
I feel a lot of
boiled up from like the hell of my belly. It was weird. It really shocked me. I was very surprised. September 1st, 1972, Bobby Fischer became a world chess champion.
Nice.
So American Bobby Fischer becomes the world chess champion in Reykjavik, Iceland, defeating Boris Spassky. Great name. Sounds like someone who could live in the south suburbs of the Soviet Union. He had become the youngest United States junior chess champion at 13 years old, followed by the U.S. championship at 14, and many consider him to be one of the greatest natural talent chess players ever. I believe there's a movie about him, for that matter.
Nice.
Yeah. So definitely low-key a person I wanted to be when I grew up, when I was little. But it turns out I'm not a natural talent at chess. So...
It's okay, man. You're good at
Yeah,
some
it's
other
fine.
things. Yeah, you're good
I'm
at some
naturally
other
talented at other things. It turns out, you know what I learned this weekend is that I'm naturally talented at shuffleboard.
Really?
Yep.
That's right. You got a shuffleboard out at the bachelor party.
Yep. And let me tell you, I've never felt more affirmed in my identity as a person who has always just wanted to just skip right to being a grandfather.
Was there any point in your mind where you're like, I could be an athlete? I'm a fucking jock.
Oh, in my life? No. Mm-mm.
No, shuffleboard. This shuffleboard moment.
Oh, yeah. There were a couple of moments where I was like, a sport I can do.
Right? Like, all of a sudden, like, I think I want to start Jockcast Live.
Yeah. Well, it was the nicest thing. Not the nicest thing. It's the best, it's the biggest sports compliment I've ever received in my entire life. Nico from Geekcast Live said, he's like an artist and the shuffleboard court is his painting, is his canvas. And I was like, that's very kind of you. That's very nice.
Did you bro hug? You better bro
No,
hug.
we were on opposite sides of the.
Oh, gotcha.
It was my team, my partner.
Gotcha.
So, but we won, and that's kind of like a bro hug.
That's the epitome of what a bro hug is.
Yeah. Well, it's the perfect socially distanced bro hug. Is
there you go.
Winning at a socially distanced sport.
Right.
What about you? What have you got to tell us about that freaking happened?
Well, let me tell you what freaking happened this week, Joe, and this is actually perfect. I love finding events that are concurrent with things we're doing on the show. So, in September 1st, 1807, the first arrest of a U.S. vice president.
Wow.
Former Vice President Aaron Burr is acquitted of treason against the United States President Thomas Jefferson and ordered his arrest. Burr had previously served as vice president under Jefferson. Burr was accused of trying to create an independent country in the center of North America, including the southwestern U.S. and parts of Mexico. Burr claims that he was just trying to farm 40,000 acres in the Texas territory that had been leased to him by the Spanish crown. He had organized an armed militia of about 60 men. Historians still debate Burr's true intentions. During his vice presidency in 1804, Burr killed former Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton in a duel.
Nice.
Yeah. And I
didn't know that about Texas. Go on, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude was a fucking weirdo, man. I think I listened to a podcast about him. Like something about like how like he went nuts and like left the country and then came back, and it's just like goofy fucking shit. I could be getting him mixed up with somebody else. They were all kind of weird back then.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they didn't have Netflix.
That's true. There's no Hulu in 1807.
No Google.
No, not a Yahoo to be seen.
Right.
Anyways, the reason I say I love how this is pertinent to what we're doing here on the show is because if you guys remember from last week, we have our POTUS Beatdown 2020 bracket on who is the most badass president we ever had. We created a bracket last week. This week, we'll be releasing the first grouping of one-on-one battles, and it's going to be up to you guys to decide on who you think would win those fights. We got the first four of the first section. Me and Cartoon Joe are trying to find the best way to do this, and I think the best way we found it is to do the polls and stuff through our Facebook page. Now, I got to look at it a little bit more because as we're kind of going through this, I was realizing that Facebook stories, even though they have polls, only last 24 hours. So I'm going to try to figure out if maybe like I'll just set up a bunch of different polls on our page and make them last for like the week or something like that. or I can just put them on the story consistently every single day from now until next week. So, check the Facebook page. Again, This Freakin' Show. Go ahead and make sure you like our page so you can follow it. Check the stories and everything. The polls will be up there starting on September 2nd as we release this show. And then they'll be on there throughout the week up until next Monday, which is, September 8th?
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right. So make sure you go on there. Make sure you vote because your votes are going to help us determine this bracket. We want you to get your guys' opinion on it. And yeah, me and Cartoon Joe are going to give our views and, express our interest on there. And we too would vote, but we're not going to vote until you guys do. And then who knows, maybe one of our votes will be a deciding factor or be a tie and we'll have to make an ultimate tiebreaker or some shit like that. But your guys' votes are going to matter in this. The first set of battles going on, you're going to see Theodore Roosevelt take on William H. Harrison, Martin Van Buren taking on William McKinley, Chester Arthur taking on Grover Cleveland, and Ulysses S. Grant taking on Benjamin Harrison. So, those will be posted up again on September 2nd in the morning, the same day that this show is going to get released. So as soon as you're done listening to the show, you can hop on over to the Facebook page and select your votes. They'll also be posted on the FreakNet Studios page as well, so make sure you like that one too. So, Joe, is there anything I'm missing before we dive into our main topic for the day?
I don't think so.
Excellent. Okay. Guys, if obviously a huge how do you express this, Joe?
Condolences.
Is that what I want to go for? I don't know. How about you do it, Joe?
Yeah. So
you're better articulated with words like that.
Yeah. So this week, we lost maybe one of the greatest heroes of the last few years, in terms of movies and pop culture and things. And, just a person who played a character that was hugely important to so many people who all they've wanted their whole lives is a superhero who looks like them. And, he delivered in a big way. And that was, it was Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, in the Marvel universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. And, he was so incredible in the role. We loved watching him. The movie was in theaters for like a year and a half. I don't know if that's true, but it felt like a year and a half. And that's pre-COVID, so that could have been like 6 months.
Yeah.
Now it's like 2 weeks. But, anyway, he died of colon cancer, and, I don't want to glamorize, fighting through your illness, but he went out of his way as an actor to visit kids in cancer wards, and, he never mentioned his own disease. He just tried to make people happy, and he tried to do what he could to deliver the best roles possible for himself. You know what I mean? The best acting he could do. And, just an enormous hero to so many people, and a wonderful actor, wonderful soul, and, died at 43. So, we want to offer our deepest condolences to to his family, to his fans, and then we've got, I don't know if we want to call it a game per se, but a little discussion on what the MCU should do next, in regards to the character.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just to kind of touch on like how you're talking about, like, I mean, it was one of those, like big moments for the fact that I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I was explained this at one point, is that him going into the MCU, like, I mean, he was the first African-American hero to have a movie based on him.
Yep.
Now, I mean, obviously there was Falcon, who was part of like, Captain America and stuff like that, but it was a movie that was solely based on a country in Africa and all this stuff. And it was an amazing movie. Michael B. Jordan played Killmonger in it, and so many amazing female actors, in there as well. But even beyond the fact that, he did like this groundbreaking, character, in Marvel, one of my favorite movies of him was when he played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42.
I haven't seen that yet, but I bet it's just tremendous.
It's a great movie, and if you guys don't know Jackie Robinson, he was the first African American to play in baseball. He was picked up the Brooklyn Giants, Brooklyn Dodgers, Brooklyn Dodgers, Brooklyn Dodgers picked him up from the Negro League to play, and that broke open so many other people to come into baseball and completely change it to what you're seeing today. So when he does a role, he finds the one that has the most passion behind it, whether it be Black Panther, whether it be Jackie Robinson, and he crushes it. So if you haven't had a chance yet, check out 42, check out Black Panther. Just see how this guy portrays these characters and everything, because when you want to see a guy put passion into what he does it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we are going to play kind of I don't know if you want to call it a game. I'm going to call it a game just until I figure out another word. Obviously there was talks about a sequel to Black Panther. I haven't looked into their idea going forward now because of it, but, there was a lot of fan, discussions about what to do with the character now. A majority of it was, having his sister kind of take over the
mantle.
There we go. I was just going to ask you, what word am I thinking of that starts with an M? Thank you. As Black Panther, which couldn't agree more. Awesome idea. But I want to go a little bit into that idea, and I have a few ideas here of people who could take over for Black Panther. Now, don't know how it would work. Obviously you'd have to explain the loss of the original Black Panther. So, but I have, let's see here. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different alternatives here. So Joe, I'm going to give you an alternative, person to portray Black Panther. And I would like a pro and I would like a con for both.
Okay.
Why it'd be a great idea, why this wouldn't be the best idea.
Sure.
Right? It's just all about being impartial. Because honestly, in my mind, all these ideas are great ideas. I'm going to tell you right now, at least 2 of them I've seen online. The rest of them, I believe I've never seen. So if it's my idea first, I want to hear the pros and cons of it.
All right.
So I want to go with the first one. The biggest one that's mentioned is the Black Panther being portrayed by, his sister, is Shuri his sister?
I think it's Shuri.
Shuri.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. My bad. I just put names here and I'm trying to, okay, I got everyone right. So, Shuri, his sister, biggest one, pros and cons about her taking over the mantle of Black Panther.
I'm not going to give lots of pros and cons for any of these, I don't think. But my biggest pro is that she makes the most sense character-wise. She's already, she would be next in line for the throne in theory. She's already basically Wakanda doesn't do hereditary heirs like that. You have to fight for it and prove that you're strong enough to be the Black Panther. But I do think she makes the most sense. I do think that she would have learned from her brother and with her technology and stuff, she might be able to pull something off. And so that would be a big pro would be that she is the logical conclusion as the sibling of the previous king. The con would be she's not really a warrior, she's a scientist.
Yeah.
She would have to probably use technology, which would be some kind of cheating. They don't really use the like swords and shields to fight, if I remember correctly in the movie. If there's any challenge, but maybe because of however they plan his death, maybe they won't have the challenge, maybe no one will challenge her. So I don't know.
I can see that. And, I don't know much about, cause I know the females are the guards to, Wakanda, the king of Wakanda. Do they, utilize the fruit that he eat or, what is that?
The flower or whatever?
The flower. do they eat that to get any type of power, or that's just all skill on their end?
I believe it's just all skill on their end.
Okay. I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I think it's a legacy thing. It's a heritage thing. You could do a storyline where there's a vengeance thing about a sibling, avenging their fallen, brother. But yeah, Khan, I think the only Khan I could think of, along with the scientist thing, is she already created herself to be such a character. It would just be overmasked by just putting her into something different.
Yeah.
I think she created a whole world a whole following of her own, of who she is, her attitude, her character, and stuff like that. I think it would just be overmasked by it being Black Panther. I think just leaving them separated, it still gives her an identity as Shuri, the scientist in Wakanda.
Nice.
Next one I have also seen online is Killmonger. I think I'd go first on this one, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Cool, thanks. Killmonger works just because he is a warrior. He has, right before he died, there was a sense of pride he had for Wakanda, watching the moon go down or the sun go down. He has the ability to be in combat. Obviously, he doesn't even need the fruit or the flower to do what he's capable of doing. Trained in the military and everything like that. And I believe that there's a possibility where if he became Black Panther, he could be one of the most powerful guys to be Black Panther, right next to, T'Challa. And I think that would be a nice little plot twist into the story to where, the guy who was killed by Black Panther is now taking up the mantle because of that. The only con is now you have to explain how he's going to come back to life. I know there's a lot of speculation that he is alive. I think if he really is alive somewhere in a prison somewhere, I think, okay, you can kind of explain that. But if he really is dead, now you just got to figure out how are you going to bring him back to life and what's going to bring him back to life. Because granted, now he's, because you have to look at the fact that Black Panther happened a couple years before Infinity Wars, which happened, 7 years before, Endgames. So
right.
If he is dead, he's been dead for about 9 years now. I get that it's all fantasy and people can make things work, but keep the realism there. Like, if he's dead for 9 years, you gotta explain him coming back. It's not so much, digging up the body and re-energizing him. Which again, possibility, but in my mind, it'd just be a zombie. So maybe getting the Infinity Stones back, but we've seen how big of a movie that had to be for that to happen. But I think he'd be one of the coolest ones. I'd probably put him at the top of the list of possibilities, but at the same time, the fact that he died, it kind of gets away from that. But
nice. Yeah, I'd agree. I think there is something fitting about it, and maybe something in the way that he came back. One of the things that made the Black Panther such an important and powerful hero in his story arc was that he listened to Killmonger's complaints and said, "Okay, from now on, we're going to change how we do things," because he was right. We shouldn't have been so isolationist. And so, I actually think that would be a really powerful thing. Maybe he would say, okay, maybe I can go back and do it the way that T'Challa, would have done it, Maybe we don't arm people and do a violent revolution everywhere and just, switch the order of oppression. Maybe we'll just help everybody, tide rises all boats type of thing.
Yeah.
So I do think that would be a really cool point for his character. I completely agree. And then I completely agree with the con, how do you bring him back to life? And he had such a satisfying death. There's no good way to bring him back that's going to be story-wise very satisfying, I don't think.
Yeah. Hypothetically, let's say that they decide to go with the Killmonger scenario. Does that mean Killmonger's completely wiped out of MCU because he's now officially Black Panther? Or does he take over as King of Wakanda as Killmonger?
I guess he would.
Like the suit and all.
Yeah, I assume he would take over as Killmonger.
Okay.
Suit and all. He would be the Black Panther because that's the title, but yeah, I assume he'd be dressed like Killmonger. Sort of like, there are some versions of the comic book where Bucky Barnes takes over as the Winter Soldier takes over as Captain America. Mm-hmm. And the only difference in the way that he dresses is instead of the Soviet star, he has the Captain America shield on his arm.
Joe, I'm glad you brought up the Winter Soldier because that was my next one.
Oh, nice.
And this one's completely me. I haven't seen this anywhere, but I think I have some good ideas about it. Black Panther portrayed by Winter Soldier.
You want me to go first?
I could go first if you like.
I would like you to go first, 'cause I don't want to pop your balloon.
No, it's no problem. Dude, if we have the same idea, we're on the same fucking page. I think because he is a soldier, because he's such a good friend to people, he would want to repay the Black Panther for all the good that he did for him, trying to get his mind back right and everything. That if they were to do some kind of storyline where Black Panther was betrayed by somebody and they needed a warrior to defend that, they would find what they call him, the White
Wolf, I believe.
The White Wolf. They would summon the White Wolf to come back and say, listen, we need help with this. We never dealt with anything like this, blah, blah. And Bucky, being who he is, would want to honor, T'Challa for what he did for him and take up the mantle of Black Panther. Now, I'm not saying permanently, but at least for the time being, until I think at the very end of the movie, he offers it up to somebody else. But I think if they were to make a movie, I think it would be cool for Winter Soldier to take it up just because it gives a different twist to it. I think the con of it is it's an outsider from Wakanda. It's not blood, it's not heritage, it's not the community. It's somebody completely outside. Granted that they know him, but to sit there and say like, we're giving you the ability to, I mean, he doesn't need the flower, but can you imagine if he took the flower, being on that serum and the flower at the same time? Man, and I don't know. I don't know how those charms work. If it's a spiritual thing based on Wakanda, if you need to be a Wakanda blood in order to do it. So I think there's a lot of okay, why put it in? And yeah, yeah. So that's just my biggest thing. Just him not being from Wakanda, there'd be a heritage thing dispute that I think wouldn't really work for him.
Yeah. I do think there's a little bit of, that's almost a pro to me. Just in terms of seeing the effect that T'Challa had on Wakanda in terms of opening things up and being less xenophobic, less isolationist, and being able to say, hey, we got this guy, we welcomed him into the community. He became a part of the community so much so that we consider him to be one of us. So if he wants to try for it, he's welcome to try. I think that's a really neat concept. My con for it is it's less to do with the movie universe and more to do with the politics of our real world. And that is
white guy, yeah.
You can't have a white guy in that role. It just wouldn't be right,
Yeah.
That's really my only con though. I do think it would be a really interesting story and the way that you laid it out actually kind of sold me on it.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, I think it'd be a cool concept for him to do it, maybe at the beginning, but at the end of it, I mean, like I said, at the end when he vanquishes any villain or whoever did what they did to T'Challa, hand the charm or something to, Shuri or, whoever else, or the next person I do have on the list here, Wakabi, the leader of the mountain people, whoever the hell they are.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. I think of them as the gorilla people for whatever reason. That's probably not right.
Well, I mean, their home thing is a big gorilla head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
border tribe, it just says here.
Border tribe. Pros and cons of Wakabi.
Yeah. So I think the pro, he almost won the mantle from T'Challa.
Yeah.
And I think that's really a kind of a powerful argument for him taking it up. I also think, if you look at what happened all throughout the movie, he was really a very strong candidate for being a runners-up, the runner-up, I should say. Mm-hmm. And I like him. I think he has Wakanda's best interests at heart. I think he's a solid character to take up the role. My only sort of hesitation is that he didn't win it the first time, and so I don't know that as a character he'd be willing to try a second time. Cause even when it's offered to him in the movie, he doesn't seem to be as interested in it as you would think he would be. And so it's a question of, would he do it because it's his duty? I think so. But does he want it? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. No, same page on that fact. Yes, he did step up to T'Challa to take, take the Black Panther name and everything, ultimately lose him, but I mean, he almost did it. You know, there was a moment where if you didn't know what the movie was about, you could have thought to yourself, holy shit, you know, this guy could win. But the negative is, like, he did have an opportunity to eat the flower and take on Killmonger himself. Now, whether he decided not to do it because he felt it wasn't his own battle, or he just felt that, like, you know, there's a little bit of T'Challa still around that can still do it. Obviously they grew a great relationship over the movie, over the, you know, the following Avengers movies as well, to like maybe like, you know, for him to step up to do that probably wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
But you know, I think out of all of these, cause I do have one more, actually I have two more. I think out of all these, he'd probably be the best bet to accept it if needed. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I do agree with that.
I think if asked, anybody would want to do it, but I think if there was somebody who had to do it, I think he would be the best option for it. Cause I mean, he is a beast. He's a big fucking dude. You know, and it's just like Winter Soldier. You give him that flower, he'll fuck shit up.
Right? Absolutely.
Next person I have on the list here, is, I want to say like the head guard, the captain or lieutenant colonel. I don't know what her title was, Nakia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pros is just her fighting ability alone.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming, and because again, I don't know how that flower reacts, if it reacts to both men and women. I don't know if it's just a man thing, if the flower affects women too, because I don't remember anything in the movie that talks about a woman taking it.
Yeah, it doesn't even seem to be an option, which is an interesting thing.
Yeah, because like, I mean, realistically, and it's just like my thought is, couldn't the guard have taken the flower in the first one? Unless she felt that maybe she couldn't compete with Killmonger. I don't know.
Right.
So I'm going to go off the basis that the flower works for everybody. Her fight ability is fucking amazing. She definitely holds her own in not only the Infinity Wars battle, but also in the Endgames battle, and even in Black Panther itself when she ended up having to fight the border, tribe or, whatever tribe her, husband or boyfriend was like leading. Really great. I think the only con I would have to say to look at the story itself, and nothing against her, but she's a guard, not so much a legacy or a leader. So I don't know if that opportunity would ever be awarded to her. I'm just thinking of like a tribe aspect of it.
Yeah, and I think, are you finished?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, because I agree with that, and I just wanted to kind of leap off of it. That's kind of one of my cons too, is like, she's already, because of her role as the guard, she's kind of already in charge of the military. Yeah. You know, and I think she got a slight promotion, at a minimum in terms of, you know, when they, ousted her husband, because she's wholeheartedly devoted to Wakanda. And so, but I do think that there is an issue of, you know, combining the power of the throne with the power of the military. You know, it's a temptation to power that I don't think she'd want, but it would make an interesting story, I think. Yeah. Now, but then I do think oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was trying to remember, like, the moment in Infinity War after Thanos snapped his fingers. I'm trying to remember what he said to her, and I think he said General, if I'm not mistaken. But like, I remember, like, he didn't say her name. It's not like he said Nakia. I thought he said like General or something, like her title, because it kind of triggered in my head the moment you said that she got like a promotion, which makes a lot of sense. I think he said like get up General or something like that. So
gotcha. I honestly don't remember, but
yeah, now it's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to watch Infinity Wars tonight.
Oh darn!
I know, right?
But yeah, but I do think the pro is she's so wholeheartedly devoted to Wakanda. She would absolutely do that if she was called upon it. And it would be an interesting push and pull between her old job and her new job. And does she, you know, how does the transition of power happen? Who's the second in command in the military? So who can hand it off to? You know, I think there's a lot there. That could be a really interesting story. All of these are really interesting stories to me so far.
Right. Because they're all possible.
Yeah.
The last one I have is my least favorite, but I had to throw it on there because it is the age of technology we're in. Black Panther portrayed with CGI. I think it's awesome because you get to keep the character, you get to keep the appearance of Boseman in the movie. I don't like it. That's my con. I don't like the idea of like what the hell does CGI stand for? Like computerized graphic something.
Computer generated images.
Thank you. I don't like the idea of that. Like when they did that for Fast and Furious with I can't remember his name either, but the actor. Yeah, Paul Walker. It was one of those things that when you hear that they did it, and maybe it's just me, I can't speak for everybody who listened to Fast and Furious, but when they said these are the scenes that Paul Walker were in, these are the scenes that they CGI'd, and these are the scenes that his brother played, which his brother and him look very similar. I was looking for that stuff. And once you realize it's there, it's hard to unsee it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go through an entire, which Disney has a lot of fucking money. So if anyone could do a CGI movie where the main character is CGI'd in the entire time, then hey, good for them. But to me, I just don't think it would look as good as if somebody else took over the mantle of Black Panther. Now, the only downfall to any other option but CGI, I'll explain that afterwards. So, yeah. Go ahead. What's your pros and cons about CGI?
Yeah, I agree with you. The pro is you get to keep the character. He gets to continue to live on, even though he's gone. And there are some characters I would love to actually see that with, like Grand Moff Tarkin from Star Wars, or even Carrie Fisher. I think that final movie would have been a lot better if they had just deep faked her all the way through, and not tried to just use footage and cut it together kind of poorly. But I also think that like you with Carrie Fisher, there's such a backlog of information about her. You know what I mean? Like she was an actress in Hollywood for decades. So there's a lot that you can do to kind of keep the character alive without dishonoring the actress or the character. But with Chadwick Boseman, I mean, he just wasn't around that long. I don't know that he had decades of work to fall back on that you could really honor the character with. And I really think that makes it tough. I do think, especially with how quickly it all happened and with how people feel about it, the deepfakes. I know I'm in the minority of people who think that deepfakes could be used, this way. A lot of people really hate the idea, and I get it. I understand why they hate it. And with somebody who is this beloved, it's much harder.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those things too. Like if they decide to go as like the CGI route, is you can only do it for so long. You can't make an entire Black Panther 2 movie with it to make it look like it's like perfect in any way, because again, people are going to notice. And then eventually, what are you going to do with them? You're going to have to end his story at some point.
Right.
And so I don't like the CGI idea. The only alternative to it is that you're going to have to explain how Black Panther died.
Right.
And I don't know the whole story about the flower thing. I don't know what happens because I'm trying to remember this shit, and I probably should watch the movie before we did this, but whatever. But is there a healing aspect to the flower? Like if he gets shot, does he die?
I think he would die.
Okay.
It's a lot like the super soldier serum, I believe. But when his father died in Captain America Civil War, he had the Black Panther serum in him. His father was Black Panther before him. And so, the only thing that Chadwick Boseman, that T'Challa had in Civil War was the suit. He didn't have the serum in him yet at that point, as far as I know.
Gotcha. I forgot that the dad. Wait, did the dad have the flower in him?
Yep. I believe so. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
We're going to have to look into that, because the thing is, I would assume that if he already took up the mantle of Black Panther, only one person could utilize the power of the fruit or the flower. I don't want to keep wanting to call it a fruit. Anyways, I think they're all good ideas except for CGI. Now, Joey, I'm going to give you a scenario.
All right.
End the games. Snap the finger. World, the population comes back and shit and blah, blah, blah. Let's say hypothetically, something goes wrong and Ulysses Clow comes back.
Okay.
Movie begins. He was able to sneak into Wakanda because Wakanda's opened up now. He found a way in because obviously he got in there before.
Right.
He killed the Black Panther.
All right.
Now, who out of this list are you giving the Black Panther mantle to? If you had to decide out of these 5 people or CGI, if you feel to be that kind of person, who do you think is the best option? Or if you think there's somebody that I didn't mention, please feel free to mention it. But who takes over?
Man, I hate going with my gut, but I got to go with my gut. My gut says Wakabi.
Wakabi?
Yep. Like I'd love to see lots of other people on this list make it in, but my gut says Wakabi.
Okay. I want to pick Killmonger, even though the idea of him come back to life is ridiculous. I love Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, that's fair. He's excellent.
Here's a thought for you. Clow comes back. He has an army. You stick Wakabi and Winter Soldier into Black Panther outfits, uniforms,
okay.
whatever we'll call it.
Yeah.
Still not enough. They go down to a holding cell and there's Killmonger fucking chilling. Ask him for help and he agrees to it. So now you got 3 Black Panthers to take on Clow's army.
Nice.
Right?
I'd be into that.
Right. I do like the idea of Killmonger doing it if you only had to choose one, just because I love Michael B. Jordan, and I think him dying off in the first MCU movie he's a part of, not a big fan of.
It was a real bummer.
Yeah. Awesome actor. If you ever had a chance to see the Creed movies, those are fucking phenomenal. He does such a great job in them. But yeah, I would love to see Killmonger come back. But yeah, I agree with you too. I think Wakabi would have been a great alternative if needed. It's also one of those things, like when you look at this stuff, it's like Wakabi could take up the mantle of Black Panther and maybe, for the first part of it to avenge, T'Challa. But at the end he realizes he wants to go back to his own tribe and lead his own tribe. He has his own people. So he decides he doesn't want to be it anymore and he hands it off to his, to Shuri. Because of the bloodline. Or, after that, I can think of many different possibilities of somebody temporarily doing it, like Winter Soldier, like Killmonger, like Wakabi. But there's also the possibility that Nakia could do it. Any one of these characters would be a phenomenal Black Panther.
I agree. Yeah.
So I'm hoping they do come out with the Black Panther movie, and I hope they do find a way to do justice to Chaz Boseman, both as a person and as the character he brought to life, and find a way to make the end of that character relevant.
Yeah,
because there needs to be an ending to him. There has to be some kind of ending. Yeah,
not to bring up Star Wars again, but like you can't just put him under a sheet and have him turn into a Force ghost or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's like even with the Curious Case of Dr. Parnassus, or whatever that movie was. The movie Heath Ledger was working on when he died.
Oh, okay.
They were going to cancel the movie, but instead Colin Farrell, Johnny Depp, and Jude Law decided to find a way to make that movie work. So now every time Heath Ledger's character, which they shot all the current time stuff at once, and they were going to do all like the alternative reality flashback stuff differently. Well, every time Heath Ledger's character jumped to a different reality, it turned into Colin Farrell. The next one turned into Johnny Depp. The next one turned into Jude Law. I don't think any of the guys in Dr. Parnassus' movie took any money for the work that they did. I think they kind of donated it all.
Oh, nice.
So I think that was a cool concept of like, that's another idea to do, but I don't know. I know DC has alternate realities. I don't think MCU does, but they don't need to.
Right.
I think they have a full cast of people that they could pass it over to, and I think they have enough writers, because all the movies have been great. I haven't found one bad movie outside that bullshit Hulk movie, but I don't count that.
Right.
I think, but they have good stories and everything. And I think they'll do great with it, and they wouldn't fuck it up. So,
nice.
But again, thoughts and prayers out to Boseman's family. It's unfortunate that happened. Honestly, I didn't know that he had colon cancer. But from the way
anybody did.
Yeah, I think from the way you explained it, he tried to kind of keep it to himself and stuff, which I understand, like, as an actor and everything, especially, being like a superhero, you don't want to, express the vulnerabilities and stuff like that to young fans, so.
Right. You also don't want to miss out on a role that he obviously nailed.
Absolutely. 100% agree. What are you freaking thinking about, Joe?
I had an answer to this. Oh, yes. Lovecraft Country on HBO. It's, there 3 episodes in. It's, written by Jordan Peele, who used to do the comedy with, it was Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key. Yeah. And then he's done 2 horror movies. He's done Get Out and Us. Mm-hmm. I think a 3rd one actually was set to come out this year, and then COVID happened. But anyway, Lovecraft Country on HBO is tremendous. And if you like horror, I highly recommend it. If you don't like horror, I don't know that I would recommend it. I will say it's more creepy than horror-y. Yeah. And there are only a couple of moments where I felt anything in terms of like being afraid, but it's just really good. It's really, really well done. I love all the characters. I love the way that they've worked like history into it and culture into it and all this stuff. It's really great. I really recommend it. Lovecraft Country. So awesome. That's what I'm picking. I don't want to spoil anything just in case somebody watches it. They're only 3 episodes in, so I really don't know what's coming. But
awesome.
Yeah. So what about you? What are you freaking thinking about?
It's the diet stuff, man. I'm probably doing it the worst way, but I'm doing it the way I did it before, which worked for me, and I'm diving headfirst into it. I'm limiting the calories, sticking to the macros, and I'm including the 16-hour fasting into it. Wow. So, like, yeah, I'm definitely just full-blown jumping right into it, which it does suck from time to time because it's one of the things where, like, it's just too overwhelming and you just give into it, but I know what I weigh, and I know what I weigh I'm not happy with. We'll talk more about it on the vlog and stuff like that. And it's also coming to the realization that as I get older, losing weight and getting healthy is going to be harder to do. So, I'm tired of the way I'm living my life because I know it's not good. Obviously, COVID doesn't help. Obviously, being out of a job doesn't help. I'm sitting around a lot more than I should. So, I'm excited to go onto this keto journey again. I'm hoping and praying that it works just as well as it did last time. And luckily I have you. So now if I hit a pitfall that I think I can't get out of, I got you to reach out to help me kind of build myself back up.
Absolutely. Happy to be part of it.
Yeah. So, and also, obviously this freaky show. I'm super excited for that. A lot of stuff we're doing here, as part of this freaking show, the podcast, but also, as part of Freakin Studios. So, also guys, I just give you a quick, reminder. As I mentioned, the logo of this freaky show that you've seen, on our, social media and stuff, that is going to be available in our, merchandise store at the end of the month. So make sure you check out our store at teepublic.com. Search TFS. Now bring up all our merchandise and everything, all of our logos and Cartoon Joe shirts and the Travesty shirts. Everything's going to be there at the store for you. You can buy it on clothing, on phone cases, laptop cases, pillows, tapestries, wall art, magnets, pins, posters, so many different things. Check it out. Buy some merchandise. It helps out the podcast. And check out at the end of the month here when we release this freaky show merchandise. Everything available except for clothing. We're not going to do clothing this year, but you will be able to get, everything else, stickers and magnets and pins and so on and so forth. So check that out again. teepublic, teepublic.com. Search TFS. Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Every week our listeners can catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But if an hour a week of Cartoon Joe just isn't enough for our listeners, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Excellent. Guys, 200th episode is just around the corner. Make sure you get your questions into us. Ask us anything. Be part of the podcast and help us out and just have some fun. Ask us some opinion questions about love, life, or just anything in general, really, within reason. We got our 5 years coming up in November. Again, we're hoping to get Awkward Colin here to do that and try to figure out what we want to do to celebrate half a decade of doing this freaking show. You can catch our show every single week on iTunes, Google Pod, Spotify, and Podbean just by searching This Freaking Show, as well as on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter just by searching This Freaking Show. This Freaking Show is part of Freak Nest Studios along with Just Freaking Wrestling and Doug Gray Area. Special thanks to Ball Wash and Auto for being sponsors of the show. That's all I got, guys. As always, I am Travesty.
No, I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freaking Show. I'm out.